You're listening to the Moneyweb Now podcast series with Simon Brown. Live streamed every weekday at 6:30 a.m.
It's Wednesday, 5th of August. I'm Simon Brown, coming at you live and loud from the Moneyweb Global Headquarters in Houghton, Johannesburg. On the show today, we'll be chatting with Stephen Brown, CEO of Fortress, on the resilience of the logistical property space.
Moneyweb Now, on the money. Also available on podcast.
Chatting to Stephen Brown, CEO of Fortress. Stephen, appreciate your time this morning. Talking logistics, real estate as sort of a part of real estate. Typically, we've had industrial, which I suppose fits in. Of course, there's residential, not much in South Africa. Mostly, it's going to be retail. It's going to be office. But that logistic real estate, it's been really resilient part of property during this pandemic. But even beforehand, I mean, it is perhaps the big growth space within property as an investment class.
Absolutely. Good morning, Simon. Yeah, I mean, I think it's, we've seen the likes of, the US giant Prologis really sort of starting to define it as a different asset class within real estate. And then, us at Fortress many years ago started to develop a lot of warehouses and logistics parks. And I think that was pretty the big e-commerce boom. But what we have seen is that a lot of the retailers are trying to refine their supply chains, and I think that trend is really also starting to drive a lot more of the logistics real estate development in the country.
Yeah, you make a great point. I mean, we always think around the e-commerce, the online, but it's more than that. It's just-in-time supply chains, and whilst supply chains have been massively disrupted during a pandemic, in truth, this perhaps plays into it because you want your end point of your supply chain to be closer to home. You don't want to be just-in-time ordering from another continent. You want to be just-in-time ordering from down the road, and these sort of spaces, the logistics is absolutely geared for that. Get the right product at the right moment to the right place.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, one of the immediate drivers, I understand that there's been a lot of hype around e-commerce during the pandemic, but one of the first phone calls we got was from guys looking for overflow space. They didn't want to, for example, turn the glass furnaces off, so they needed space to store the glass and all of the other products. And I think you're absolutely right that, the just-in-time supply chain perfected by the likes of Toyota and things like that, I think has been shown to be quite prone to disruption. So I think the companies are going to sit on a lot more stuff, which requires the warehousing. And then, overlaid with that is a big push by a lot of the retailers to make sure the e-commerce and omni-channel is actually working and sufficiently resourced.
Yeah, that's a great point. With the pandemic's taught us, perhaps your just-in-time needs a little more stock, sort of close to hand. Are we, as a country, as an investment portfolio, have we been lagging perhaps in the logistics REIT space compared to our global peers? I mean, I look at the US, I look at Europe. There seems to be, certainly in an investable sense, a lot more available.
Yeah, we definitely have been lagging, and I think our e-commerce penetration has been much lower. And I mean, my forecast is it's always going to be lower. I think, the West and Western Europe, the UK in particular, have got these very wealthy and very, very dense populations, which make the deliveries far more profitable, far more efficient. We don't have that in South Africa, and I can't see that densification coming as we see in the West. So I think it will always be lower, but we certainly are far behind, and we've always had great retail space and lots of retail space. I think some would say perhaps too much bad retail space. Mm-hmm. So I think the retailers have been pushing bricks and mortar stores and have now realized that, with the likes of Takealot and what we've seen globally with Amazon, I think that the local retailers are probably going to take the lead in terms of driving a lot more omni-channel type of experience for their customers. And I think that's going to require a lot more warehousing and a lot more efficient logistics.
And this is one space. I mean, if we turn to Fortress, I mean, Fortress already has a fair bit of logistics space, but it is an area that you are actively looking to grow and to get to sort of almost a third of your asset base.
Yeah, we are, Simon. I mean, we've got, at the moment a standing portfolio of just over 10 billion. with 3 billion sort of land banked and about 1 billion under development. So we've got 7 active sites, and the warehouses are about 20 to 30,000 square meters, and we've got 7 of those. I mean, just to give you a comparable, a shopping centre in Johannesburg, Hyde Park Shopping Centre is probably 35,000 square meters. So, that's quite a lot of lettable area that we're developing at the moment. And touchwood, we're still getting a lot of interest, even though I think we'll all admit the macroeconomics are a little bit weak at the moment. We still have a lot of interest. Our logistics portfolio vacancies in the low single digits and doing well. When we came out with results on operations in April, our rental collection for the retail portfolio that we've got, which is still in quite a defensive sector in rural retail, was really just essential services, was sitting at about 56, whereas our logistics collections were at about 80, and we only had to write off just under 2% in April. So I think it has proved that it is resilient, and we've got a pipeline of 1 million square meters of lettable area that we're still planning to roll out over the next 3 to 5 years.
We'll leave that there, but you did mention rural retail and how that's defensive. I think we're going to have to get you back to chat and delve into that. Stephen Brown, CEO at Fortress, appreciate your time this morning, sir.